I kind of do like where I live. Like I live maybe 3 minutes from the school. I moved because originally I was like in the center. Um, but the center was like a 15-minute walk, and me kind of being like a computer nerdy guy, I like calculate all the times and I'm like, not even closer. But since I moved, I like the location even more now, just because it's like, it's right at the edge of the town, but you can still get there, but you're also close to the school. And I'm kind of like in this like pre-war building, which is kind of cool, because it's like kind of historic. So I don't know, I feel like if I was in Europe, I want to live in one of these buildings. So yeah, it's kind of nice. I do like that location. What else do I like about ISR? I think, honestly, I do enjoy the kids quite a bit. Just because like the students, they have like a lot of community within them, and they're just so chatty and social, and that they all want to like do interesting things. Like I have students who are, starting businesses. I have some that are like making their own video games and have completed their own video games. And I don't know, I think the community for the students is one of the highlights for me. Honestly, I was shocked at how polite they were. I guess because when I came here, I wasn't sure what to expect. I guess maybe because it's like the proximity and it's like a cold climate, and people told me people are kind of like really, introverted here and kind of shy. But the students, they all come into the classroom and they're like, oh, hello, Mr. Kung, how are you doing? How was your day? And stuff like that. And I wasn't kind of expecting that, because a lot of times students that I taught previously, whether in Canada or in Asia, were not so forthcoming about, asking those things. So they kind of surprised me a lot with just how polite they are. They're friendly, they're chatty, and they all have really interesting interests too outside of school, which I think is really cool. And I was really happy to talk to them a lot about that stuff. And some of them I've been working with now, with like doing other stuff, so which is kind of cool. I think the team at ISR, especially all the admin and the staff, they're so important to the school, because I think it's such a small school, so everybody wears like a lot of hats, and people are filling in for each other, and we kind of help each other out a lot. I know just because like when I went back for one of my best friend's weddings, the staff was like, helping out with coverage and doing all that stuff. And then I kind of do the same too when people are out. So I think the staff really lean on each other, so it's nice that we have like a good team. Although there's a lot of stuff to do, but we work together well, and I think they did a good job putting together like a good group of people. And the admin too, like I'm surprised how involved they are with like the low level of actually teaching. Sometimes they're stepping into the classrooms too to help out and do stuff. So I was just surprised at how engaged like the admin was as well, which I think is good to see. And I think they know you're busy at the school. They know how busy you are, and they do appreciate it as well. And I think that's really nice, because that's sometimes not always the case. I think this comes with being such a small school, is that you end up knowing everyone actually. So like I know almost all the students now, all the staff, like everybody says hi. Like there's so many times us, outside on the streets, and then I see students, and I just I'm like, what are you guys doing here? I'm like at a restaurant, and then sure enough my student's sitting over there, or I'm just walking around with one of my friends, and then suddenly you're like, oh, 3 students are going out busking or something like that. So I see my students quite often, but I think just because we're so close, because of the school, the community, it's like it's not awkward as typically, as a student, and you see your teacher outside of school, you're like, what? You have a life outside of school? Like, what are you doing here? Like, it's kind of awkward. But I haven't gotten that here. Like sometimes I just stop and we just chat, and we just hang out a bit and just like see what they're doing, catch up on the weekend, and then something like that. And it's not bad at all. So I think the community of just a small school really plays into that. No, definitely I'm really happy I came to the school. I think there's a lot of opportunities here to do a lot of interesting things. And again, that's just, because we do wear a lot of hats and stuff. There's lots of chances for you to develop your own teaching style in different ways. They really allow you to express who you are as a teacher in the classroom, as long as, the kids are doing what they need to do. And also I think the experience with like different curriculums too, because like I didn't do IGCSE or DP as well. So just getting all of them as well over a couple of years. Last year I did IGCSE, now there's not that, then there's NYP. So I think experiencing different curriculums, I think, is a really good pull for me, especially like just learning about those things. and then the admin just like supporting you in doing that, I think it's really nice too. So people like coming to potentially take my role, I say it's definitely worth it. I don't regret it at all. Yeah, I would recommend it, honestly. And then living in Eastern Europe too it's different. I think that's really something that you don't really get in your life very often, and the opportunity to live here, I think it's like this weird kind of period that, but you actually, it's way more insightful than I think living in Western Europe, which I thought was one of the biggest pulls for me coming here too, and I'm glad I did.